Hello! So welcome to our new kitchen. Now this is going to be where all of our videos are going to be coming from for the next period. We don't know how long we're going to be here, maybe a year, maybe two, something like that. But yeah, this is it in all its glory. We have got a large induction stove over here. We've got a double oven off to the side, which we'll show you. We've got loads of storage all over the place and a big fridge, finally. This space is going to open up so many possibilities because for the first time ever, we can actually be on camera and we can both be on camera at the same time. Very soon we will be doing different things on camera together. Not those kind, but we will be cooking a lot of interesting dishes and trying out a lot of experimental formats for the channel. So think of the formats you want to see and put a comment down below. Now, let's get into some interesting recipes for the first time in this kitchen. So today we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to make Kunefe or Kunafa, and we're going to make it into cookies. So we're going to do them a few different ways, try it out, see if it works. This recipe is basically from the goddess of Middle Eastern desserts, Cleopatra, and I'll link her blog down below. But yeah, we're gonna try it out, and these are no-bake cookies, and they should be really, really crunchy. Okay, so this is the Kunefe dough. Now you find this in the fridge and freezer section of your Greek or Turkish or Middle Eastern supermarkets. Now it's gonna have like a hair-like appearance, and it's gonna be white, right? And this doesn't have any sort of flavor or any sort of crispiness to it. And so this is what it ends up looking like. Now, this stuff is extremely fine. We're talking finer than hair. And one of the things about this pastry is you'll find a lot of people saying that it's shredded phyllo dough when it's not. It's actually just a batter, and what happens is they pour it onto a pan and it dries, and then what you're left with is this. It's like a, well, I mean, they've folded it up, but this is pastry. It is pastry strands, right? Like, show you how fine that is. So it is really, really fine. That is like finer than human hair. I mean, you can see, just as I pull it apart, very thin strands. And so this stuff is used to make kunefe, it's used to wrap things in where you make kunafa. But today, because we're going to be turning it into cookies, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this up really, really fine. And to do that, I'm just gonna use some kitchen scissors, really easy to use. So I'm gonna take this and just cut it into 3 pieces. All right, and now that I've cut it, I can now get to chopping it down to a very small size. So the first few bits might not get very small, but then just want to chop it really, really fine. Maybe about 1/2 centimeter or less in length. So I'm almost done, but basically if you hold it in your fist like this, really tight, you just hold the scissors like that, you should be able to just get really small bits. And the smaller the better, because then they're gonna be super, super crispy. All right, and that is it done. I mean, extremely fine, lots of small threads. So I've doubled the recipe because I'm gonna make 2 different kinds, but you want 200 grams of the chopped kunefe, right? And so now I'm just gonna measure out that 200 grams, zero the scale, get my 200 grams in, that's 148, and then a bit more, 199, 200, there you go. So that will be the other 200, which we'll do in the second batch. So now that we've got our 200 grams of chopped kunefe, we're gonna cook this, and we're gonna need 100 grams of butter. And that's gonna sound like a lot, and it is, but I mean, these are cookies, right? It's not like they're supposed to be healthy. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So I'm just gonna cut off 100 grams, I think, roughly. 104, good enough for me. All right, and now I've got to figure out how the stove works because I have barely used it. So on, and we let the butter melt. That's obviously gonna take a while. So the butter is now fully melted. Now I am just going to add that kunefe in there. Ooh, I missed the pan completely. That's all right. And then I'm gonna get to mixing. You can see it's already absorbed all of the butter. So it's gonna take a while to get this browned, but you wanna keep mixing it. Now this is the kind of thing that every year during Ramadan, there's like a competition to see who can invent the most incredible Ramadan desserts. So using traditional ingredients, but maybe you're gonna add something in like lotus or Nutella or some other thing. And this, I mean, it's not exactly brand new, but shops have started selling these this year, like dessert shops. And so, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one because I think they look incredible. Also, I apologize for the overexposed footage. In parts, we are still just getting used to this space and we need to hang up curtains and stuff. All right, I can see that the butter is just about starting to come back out of that Kunefe now. And so that means it's going to start really frying. So now that this is starting to crisp up and dry out, I'm just trying to break up the last clumps. Just break them a bit small and they'll come apart themselves anyway. Okay, definitely do this in a pot. This is not worth doing in a pan. It's a good thing I'm not going to the gym today. I think we're almost there. It's okay, as long as they're not soggy on the middle. So, approximately 50 million hours later, I think this is as browned as I can go. There are patches of white in there from some of the balls which didn't break up, but if I go any further, I think I'm going to end up burning some of the darker bits. So, I'm going to call it here. Don't be an idiot like me. Use a pot, don't drop half of it onto your stove. Get that out of the pan. And obviously there's residual heat in there, so it will continue to brown a bit more. Now that we've browned it, we need to let this cool completely before we can use it. Sounds like sand, and that is why these are going to be so crispy. So now that they've had some time to cool, I've placed some parchment paper on a baking tray, and we've also got some chocolate. So I've got 3 different kinds here. We've got a milk chocolate, I've got some white chocolate. It's a white chocolate made with caramel. So you want about 280 grams of this chocolate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt it. So I'm going to do that in my microwave. But you can use a double boiler if you don't have a microwave, or if you prefer to do it that way. I just find that a microwave is just a lot easier. Okay, so into the microwave I'm going to put it, and I'm going to microwave it about 30 seconds each time and give it a quick mix, and then put it back in for just until it's all melted. So 30 seconds and mix, and then bring it back out. Okay, so that is now 2 minutes, and you can see it has actually just turned into liquid chocolate. Oh my God, I am so hungry. I'm fasting right now, and this just looks so good. Oh, I could just jump into this. Anyway, you want to get as smooth as you can. So right now it's not perfectly smooth, but the smoother it is, the nicer your cookies are going to look. I literally could just pour this in my mouth right now. Okay, so that is ready. That is some of the nicest looking melted chocolate that I've seen. I don't know why, maybe just because I'm hungry, but that's perfect. So apart from the tray, I've also got an ice cream scoop and then a measuring cup, because what we're going to do is we're going to mix the chocolate with the Kunefe. Then we're going to portion it out, and after we've portioned it out, we're going to flatten it into individual cookies. So keep these ready because that chocolate will start to harden pretty quick. So I'm going to pour out pretty much all of it because I've added some extra just to decorate with. But yeah, pour out pretty much all of it. Now, I am going to just mix this together very well. Just try not to be too violent so you don't crush all of the Kunefe. It should be just about enough chocolate to completely transform this. It's well mixed, and then you can move on to the next bit. All right, so just scoop them out. Try to get them even. I mean, they just fall out of the scoop, just nice and easy. Okay, I'm gonna flatten these out. We'll see if there's space anywhere near them. So you want to keep them fairly thick, not too thin. Go to the thickness that you like, but the thicker they are, the more likely they will hold together. And then I just want to make them look a bit rounder, so I'm stealing a trick where you just go like this. Look at that, perfectly round. I'm also just going to use that to move them off to the sides, so there's space for a few more of them. And there you have it. Those are the milk chocolate Kunefe cookies. So before you put them to cool in the fridge, you can decorate them slightly. And so I've got some ground pistachios. They are vibrant green. I'm just going to add a bit on each one of them. Okay, that looks like a good amount of pistachio. I'm just gonna press down slightly. Don't press too much so you don't disturb the chocolate. So those look pretty good right now. I think they're ready for the fridge. I'm gonna put them in and let them rest and harden. And then we're gonna come back and make the other ones. But first, I'm gonna break my fast. It is sunset. It's a pretty incredible looking sunset out there right now. I'll show you what that looks like. That is the sunset we're dealing with today. That was an exhausting fast today. All right back to it. All right, I've had my dinner. Belly's all full. I think it's time we try the second one. So for this one, we're gonna use 200 grams of this caramel chocolate. You could use white chocolate as well. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna melt it. It's been pretty melted, maybe a bit over melted. I think it'll be fine. So the pistachio paste I'm going to be using is 100% pistachios, no sugar added, nothing else. So actually it does split just like tahini. There's a load of oil on the top. If that happens, you just mix it in. It's just like regular 100% peanut butter, so you just have to mix it back in. Same thing as tahini. And it is like dark in color, do you see that? Looks like sewage or algae. Delicious. So we're gonna add 100 grams of this in, which should add loads of pistachio flavor. And now we just mix them together into hopefully something that doesn't look like Shrek, but might look like Shrek. We've got some food coloring if it does. Do this just a bit. Okay, let's mix that and see if it's enough. I think it's okay for pistachio. Looks like pistachio gelato, so. I'm gonna add some extra texture using some bright green pistachios. They don't look bright green yet, but just wait until I chop them open. Just give them a rough chop. Now let's add that chocolate. Just mix it all together very thoroughly. It's the same color I want to paint the ceilings, but I mean a bit darker. Let's measure them out then. Should get the same amount as last time. Now, to make them look even better, I'm just going to give each one of them plenty of pistachio to cover up all of the brown. Alright, and then just press it down slightly so that the pistachio actually sticks to these. So those are going to rest in the fridge for about an hour maybe. Okay, so those have cooled down, so now we're going to decorate them with a bit of caramel. The truth is, although we made these with pistachio, you really can make these with anything. So tahini ones would be really nice. We were just thinking earlier, white chocolate and freeze-dried raspberries would be good. All right, then I can just, and so there we have it. Those are the finished pistachio and caramel ones. Now they look a lot more presentable. I would serve these. These are the chocolate and pistachio ones. Again, I mean, these ones look really nice. I'm gonna plate these up and show you what they look like properly, and then we're gonna dig in and try them. That is too good. This biscuit is just so crispy and crunchy. And the chocolate is really pleasant, but that pistachio adds a nice twist to it. Really, really nice. Now this is the caramel pistachio one, and I've been looking forward to this. This is everything you could want in a pistachio biscuit. It's really crispy, it's got loads of crunch, and there's a ton of pistachio flavor. I mean, you could even make this with peanut and it would make you the most amazing peanut cookies ever. If you can get hold of Kunefe, give these a try because they are absolutely killer and they need basically no work at all. Oh, and if you're interested in more Kunefe recipes, check out these videos up here.